Whether you're new to pool and practicing the basics, or a more experienced player performing drills to improve your shot making and positional play, the Drill Partner is perfect for you.
What is up, everybody? Is Molina Mike here on this Monday evening edition of Dogging It. Let me know if you guys can hear me and see me on all right. Doing riding solo today for the show. So I tried to get Pinozo on earlier, but he's writing that bum Hall of Fame speech, and Ray was busy. Joey, I ain't heard from him. So anyhow, the show must go on, and we got a lot of stuff planned for this week with our Mosconi Cup coverage, and so I wanted to get this International Open recap out of the way. But anyhow, let me know if the audio is coming through good, and hopefully the internet stays good. The Miss says present and perfect, or just says perfect actually. Okay, well, wonderful. I'll bring you guys in, and if you guys have any questions for me throughout the show, feel free to ask. I need all the help I can get on this one. So on the note of Michelle, one of our sponsors for the Mosconi Cup, much appreciation there. I want to give a big thanks to just all the sponsors that we've had throughout this past year. It's by far been the busiest year personally for me, and the pool world is just booming, and so would not be able to do it without the help of everyone who jumps on in and responds to an email or a message or whatever. And so including this team down here, Q-Tech, Dr. V's, Q and Case, and of course Michelle, and then all of our podcast sponsors. You see them scrolling on the side of the screen. Along with that, one of them being Town. I got a little Christmas present here. It came a little bit early, so I got this and I got this, and so we're gonna give it a swing here. I just got them in today, and I knew that this blue V10 was coming out, so I was holding off on getting our renewal stuff until it got released, because I wanted to make sure and get it. So this is the unboxing video, so to speak, and I know you guys have seen it at your local retailers. Oh yeah, this is real. It's very it's a real rich blue. I don't know if you guys can see that all right. The lighting's a little odd, but definitely different. Looks like a much darker tone than the V10, which is cool. And yeah, I'm excited to try it out. So if you guys need any, hit me up. We'll be happy to ship whenever I get back from the Mosconi Cup. Anyhow, we got a International Open to talk about. Maybe some Mosconi Cup stuff. I want to give thanks to everyone who's been participating on Windows Open for doing our end of the year stuff. I've been kind of making some posts on there, and hopefully you guys have chimed in and given your thoughts and opinions, and maybe ruffle some feathers here and there, although unintentional for the most part, So, but yeah, it's a fun time of year. We got an end of year show that we're planning whenever we come back. Franco says, "Ship it, you got it, homie. I'll send you some." Speaking of Franco, along with our sponsors, this year, like I said, has been great, in a number of different aspects. But there's been some challenges along the way, and for me personally, I wouldn't been able to make it through the year without my girls, without my family, and more important, my real good friends, and they know who they are. But Roberto is one of them, and Hanshu and Oscar and Dez, they've helped me weather a storm or two this year, which is great. And it's crazy how much how much they look out for me, including this one right here. You want to say hi to everyone? Say happy holidays to everyone.
Happy holidays.
Say happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Everybody.
We'll have a Franco Q here pretty soon for you guys, and like I said, yeah, it's been a crazy year, but I'm truly thankful for everyone that's kind of been a part of this whole journey, including my friends and my girl. So wouldn't be without you guys. But anyhow, enough of all the lovey-dovey stuff. Let's talk some pool. Across this weekend, a ton of stuff going on, but mainly International Open was what we were covering. And so I don't know if you guys want to start with Bigfoot or start with Yap. Either way, Donald says, hope to see you at Mosconi Cup. I'll be there at the Mosconi Cup. You want to say hi, babe? Want to say hi? This is my other daughter, Juliana. They can see you once you come in the light, babe. Say happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Say happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
All right, now let your dad do a little bit of work, huh? I love you. Anyhow, Moscone Cup, I will be there. I'm flying out on Thursday. I'm flying out on Thanksgiving. And so I'm not going to be able to do the whole thing with the girls. I think we're going to try to do something on Wednesday since I'm taking off on Thursday. And then, yeah, I'll be over there for about a week or so. So I'm excited. I've never been to Orlando that I can remember anyway. And so we'll see how it goes. You know, my new venue, new dynamic this year, different team, different energy, like heading into the Moscone Cup. I'm excited for it, but then there's also like just like a weird air in the air. Um, and so, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to talk to a bunch of players and was talking with Matchroom today and over the course of the weekend and trying to line up, getting some of the captains on. So, hopefully we'll be able to talk with them ahead of the press conference, probably on Friday. So keep your eyes and ears for that. And then, we're going to be doing a team breakdown show. So we're going to go through each team on one show and so on. And I think I'm going to try to get Ray for tomorrow and then maybe Mike on Wednesday or vice versa. We'll try to get someone on here so that way I'm not just babbling by myself. But anyhow, International Open, great event. Real solid way to end it. Yap repeats, which that was really the story for this year's International Open was the repeating. Yap takes out Niels in the semifinal. Moritz defeats Pius and then loses to Yap in the final to claim another International Open notch on his belt, which is great. You know, when I was putting on some of these posts for top players of the year and stories of the year and junior players and whatever. I made one for Asian players, and it's hard to argue against Yap. You know, he solidified that spot on the Reyes Cup team with a win at the International Open last year, and then finishing off the year with a strong performance at the Reyes Cup, claiming the first ever MVP, and then ending it with a another International Open win. It's hard to argue that dude's not the best Asian player, but I've seen a lot of comments for guys like Carlo, guys like Chua. So we're gonna sift through them, and we'll award some winners at the end of the year. So it'll be a fun time of shows, and not just this week for the Moscone Cup, although we are looking forward to that especially, but just in general, it's although this is my last trip of the year, we're still gonna be pretty busy throughout the end of December, but I'll be honest with you. I'm real glad to be home or gonna be home for a few weeks. So, or at least whatever it is, like a month or whatever. So, it's long overdue. And so, got some quality time planned with the girls, and I'm real excited for that. But anyhow, hopefully some of you guys who are in the chat are gonna be checking out the Moscone Cup. Let me know any familiar faces I should expect to be seeing out there, and I'll make sure and keep an eye out. So. Although it's not like the juggernaut of a match that I was hoping it would be with Josh not being in the mix, it's still just as exciting to go over there. Like I said, there's just a little something in the air just with everything that's been going on leading up to it. But we expect to talk to everybody and anyone. I'm hoping to do a bunch of stuff with some fans while we're out there as well. And just really make it as much of a community involvement as we can out there at the Moscone Cup. So we know that if you've been planning your year around traveling around Thanksgiving, we know you're a diehard. So, and even if you can't make it like Franco there, you'll be sweating it from the house. So it should be a fun few days, and especially being on the weekend. We don't got to fade like that Monday through Tuesday, Wednesday kind of vibe. So we'll see how it goes. Matt Poland says I'll be the Moscone Cup all 4 days, VIP front row. Well, you'll have a better spot than me. I don't know where we're going to end up. Usually float around and get some media passes, but that's great that you decided to fork up for the VIP. I'm excited. I know Emily and them take a lot of pride into making sure that everything's like a step up from the year before. I know there's a lot of question marks. It transitioning from Vegas into Orlando, and how's it going to be? So knowing her and that team, they'll make sure that it's going to be a great show and that it really is it's the premier event of the year. So it's been kind of cool online seeing some of these guys, post on social media as far as what they're doing ahead of the event. Last year, thanks to QTech, we were able to go out there and do some stuff with Team USA. I'm curious to find out what the training has been like, and what's that dedication level like, given it's just all up to the players at this point. So we shall see. Anyhow, back to the international. Yep, like I said, with a great performance, really putting in a spot for 2025 to go back into the Reyes Cup, and I think given the fact that he's the MVP, it's pretty fitting that he kind of starts off this way and leads that pack. He's got that like quiet demeanor about him, and not a ton of personality, but just as sincere guy as you can ask for being out on tour. And so it's always awesome to see him, come big time. The finals wasn't like as marquee as we would have liked, just given that, at least, for me, I always like seeing bigger names, but I also like seeing great stories as well. Seeing the chance for Moritz to snap off his first title would have been pretty solid. Kid's got a really bright future ahead of him. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with him going into 2025. Along with all the shows, we'll be doing like some players to watch for 2025, and hopefully you guys can hang out for that one as well. Matt says I'm just as excited for the Hall of Fame banquet. I am too, man. I'll be out. That's the whole reason why I'm leaving on Thursday, is so that way I'll make sure I'm there ready and being able not to be rushing that day up to check out that Hall of Fame banquet. Of course, SVB is getting inducted along with Mark Wilson, but which is great, and all those things, and they're legends of the game, both of them. But I'm real excited for my man Mike. Everyone knows he's like a mentor, and call him Uncle Mike, and he's been a really good friend over the years, and I really value his what he's done in the sport for all those years. And watching Billiards Digest or reading Billiards Digest was just how I was able to get pool news for such a long time, and it still is, in many aspects. But he's been doing a lot of things to kind of pioneer in his own right, and so I think it's very fitting he gets inducted finally into the Hall of Fame. So we'll see him out there on Friday, and I know he's going to be a big, he's going to get choked up and talk too much and be having a cocktail, and it'll be everything that you expect it to be and then some. So I'm excited to see a bunch of familiar faces and new friends and old friends, and so it's just going to be a great trip. It's going to be a fun end of the year, and I think it'll be just exactly what the Moscone Cup should be and what the last trip of the year should be as well. So SVB takes down the Bigfoot. Kind of a shocker there, but not really a shocker there. The dude's won 3 out of the last 4 Bigfoot events. They only go on twice a year, and like I said, he's won 3 out of the last 4, with Filler taking down Derby at the beginning of the year. And so it's, like, given the fact that it was not as deep of a field as you would think, he dodged Roberto there in round 1 because Roberto was running out, man. It was the craziest thing. I was having some dinner on Friday night, and I was at the restaurant, and we're going back and forth, and I'm at the corner of my eye, like I'm sweating, I'm sweating Shane and Roberto. And I've watched a lot of both of them play, and Roberto's a very underrated Bigfoot player. He's done very well in that event. He snapped it off before, and so I was sweating that last rack. He beats him to the shot finally, and then he's running out. But look, Roberto's a great player, no doubt about it. But if you've seen Roberto over the years, you'll know that at times he can get a little like hitching his giddy up, when the pressure's pretty high. And I think that kind of just showed its ugly head there on that shot. And it wasn't a gimme by any means, but certainly a shot that he should have put down. He lets Shane off the hook, and then Shane just drills the 10 ball that Roberto left, and kind of laughs, and the rest is history, as they say. Franco says, why was there 8 players? I don't know. I have no idea. I was expecting that there would be 16. And so I was refreshing their players list website, and I never saw it update past, I think it said October, Halloween. And I'm just thinking, okay, they're going to they got to get 16 because there's always 16 players, and so that's just the way that it always has been that I can remember anyway for these Bigfoot events. And then lo and behold, there was only 8. It wasn't just the fact that Shaw wasn't there; it was the fact that basically all of Team Europe was MIA in that event. And then you had the 2 Americans. Well, I mean Americans, Frank Federer and SVB out there. Federer loses to Levan in the semifinal, and then of course Levan loses to Shane in the final. But yeah, the lack of everyone's there. Even why wouldn't Josh playing? He was a defending Bigfoot champion for Derby. You would have expected to see him in there, so why wouldn't he in the mix? Usually, I think it's like $1,000 entry, so I don't think that would be an issue for a lot of these guys. Again, with that, just pure speculation here. I would think that it's just the Europeans were there training, and Josh, I don't know what his story is, but yeah, it's real. It was surprising to say the least. I always look forward to Bigfoot. This was a little bit like, 2 matches and then it's the final. It's kind of like okay, it's cool, I guess. But and it's always a fun event to watch because there are no jump cues and things like that. But um, it left a lot to be desired. That's for sure. So Matt says, hate to admit it, I don't care about all the table streaming. I think AccuStats is overpriced. And as much as I wanted to support Pat's event, the streaming package maybe not follow the event at all. Look, you know me, I like keeping it real honest. All right. So, yeah, by a mile, that event is overpriced for the value. Now, it's cool. You get all these tables streamed, but like, it's not necessarily the best quality. And what although I did, pay out some money to watch the event, when I'm listening to it, and look, I get there's some diehards and some old school guys who just love listening to Mike Siegel do commentary, and he's a legend of the game. He's a Hall of Famer. He's this, that, and the other. I get it. And I didn't have to hear his email 30 times an event, but like it wasn't that much better, like compared to last year. And last year was like as big of a nightmare as you can ask for on the mic. It's like I think part of what makes the event so great is like the way that it's presented. You know what I mean? And so and it's not just with commentary, it's not just with good video, it's not just with compelling matches, but it's A, B, C, D, and E. It's everything. You got to check off all the boxes. You got to have great social media while you're out there too, to let people know what's going on for the stories. Now for the page, we covered the event because there was a lot of great players there. Of course, the Josh story was still a big part of it. The players, ahead of the Mosconi Cup was a big part of it as well. And just the guys who can kind of like, step into their own spotlight during these kinds of events like a Moritz or, the back-to-back winner in Yap. And but, it's like there's a few events I look forward to every year. One of them is the World Cup of Pool. Ain't get to watch that this year. And another one is Bigfoot. And part of that is because we don't get to see it all so often. So like I'm not burnt out by the idea of watching these guys go and do it now. And besides the fact that it's like typically you have like at least out of 16 players, you'll have like a good 10 to 12 that are elite. And then out of that 10 to 12, you'll have like the exceptions, right? The Shanes and the Federers and those guys and the Joshes, of course. But it's just I hate to like just kind of like just throw shade on it because there was, it's cool. You got to see a lot of the other tables, and that's great. You brought it to like a modern world, I guess, but it's paying whatever it is, 80 to $100 right now. It's just, it ain't, for me, it ain't worth it, And so, and I've heard a lot of people kind of go and echo that. I think there's a way where maybe they can figure it out, but listen, I don't know their overhead. I'm sure there's a lot of mouths to feed. And so, kudos to them for putting it on. Glad that it went to a different place. I don't know how the foot traffic was. I don't know how the venues were. The Omega action, like Bed Not Made says, was cool. I was sweating some of that. Of course, me being a diehard One Pocket fan as well. But yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of potential for sure. And I'm hoping that it can be like, in Florida in November or December. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And then ahead of the Derby, who knows? So it could be a great event. Remains to be seen. But all in all, for it being the first year out there, it was about what I would expect. Matt said the 14.1 is going on. I got no idea what's going on in the 14.1 event. Absolutely none. I think I saw a post from Lee Van saying he was still in the final 16, and so I don't know who is left in there or who isn't. It's like I said, I don't know. I'd be curious to see which of the Europeans and the Americans for the Mosconi Cup are playing in it, because right now it's like it's crunch time for all these guys, and then of course with Thanksgiving coming up and all that, I just it's yeah, it's all these things like ahead of the Super Bowl that you kind of watch for when it comes to what their day to day is like, and how much time are they spending in the lab, kind of putting in the work. So um, 14.1's got some good points to it. I watch that event every year. I wouldn't say I look forward to it per se, but I'll watch the last 16 players or so. And so, yeah, I don't know what the schedule is. I don't know what they're racing to. I don't know anything. So, appreciate y'all coming for Windows Open for getting all your news. But anyhow, yeah, I mean, like I said about, what you would expect from this event. Um, the length didn't seem too long or too short, although it is still going on. So that's interesting. Um, having these events near Thanksgiving, I'm not necessarily in love with, and I'm sure the players would rather kind of be at home with their families as well. That part of it, I feel like even though they're, like a UK company, Matchroom's got to do something about that, because listen, we can't have these boys away from their families on big holidays, and Thanksgiving is one of them here in the States. So hopefully in the coming years there could be some adjustment for that, because it's already been a difficult enough year when it comes to the travel schedule. And so Sky's got kids, and who I'm sure all these other families want to see their sons and whoever want to go and have them attend. So like I said, hopefully they can get that sorted out where there'll be some like normalcy, like certain things in the calendar are just leave them alone. So like I said, I fly out on Thursday. We're gonna be out there for the Hall of Fame banquet on Friday, and then for the press conference as well. And then I got both captains lined up ahead of the press conference that I'll be filming some stuff with them. So that should be cool. So we'll be asking some tough questions. I'm going to ask some pretty tough questions when I get to see Emily as well. In case she didn't know, now she knows. And so it's this part of the year is what everyone kind of worked for. This is where everything kind of comes together, and it's time to shine. Stephen Fair says SVB is still in the 14.1 tournament. Well, you know, SVB kind of does his own thing anyway, so I don't, that's great for him. Shane's just wanting to grab as much money as he can before he goes and hibernates up in South Dakota for a few months. So um, I'd love to see the Mosconi Cup a good 6 months away from Reyes Cup. Yeah, look, it kind of made, had the Europeans won, it would have made this event that much more interesting for me. It kind of feels a little bit more flat, and I'm surprised that I feel that way, because I didn't even consider that ahead of the Reyes Cup, even though I like the Asian players going into it. But um, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's where it'll settle. I love the idea of it kind of being on that part where, around Hanoi and all that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, and um, how 2025 will shake up is going to be real interesting. We don't have a calendar out yet per se. I'm hearing a lot of rumblings when it comes to WPA calendar as well, as far as them adding big events to their schedule. And so, it's going to be. I don't think that all this drama that's been going on is over yet. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the coming months. But um, anyhow, I got a date with these girls over here to do some board games for tonight. So I'm gonna be wrapping up the show here. Like I said, for this upcoming week, I got Ray and Mike on the show. I'm gonna try to reach out to Double J as well, try to get him on, and we're just gonna be cutting up each team player by player, talk positives, negatives, weaknesses, holes in their game, all that fun stuff. So you won't want to miss that. I'm going to try to get Emily on the show as well. And so, yeah, it should be, it's going to be a busy time. And then when we're out there, it's going to be just boots on the ground. So I don't really know what to expect from the press conference. I think I've been to one, and I don't even remember if I got to ask a question. Um, but I like doing more. I'll wait till after the dust settles and then talk with the guys and really ask them some questions. That's just more my style of doing things anyway. But shout out to Matchroom because they always give us great access, and so this event I expect to be no different. So anyhow, I do have. I'll probably hold off um, on the question of the trivia for the next spot for the Hanoi Open signed jersey. So stay tuned for that for tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to try to get Joey on as well, and I got a few other surprise guests that I'm working on. Hopefully you guys can participate in some of the posts on Windows Open. Let me know who you like and what are your favorite stories of this year because there's a ton of them. So anyhow, big shout out to all of our sponsors that help out. We got a ton more that we'll be posting on Windows Open. And I look forward to travel and look forward to seeing all you guys at the Moscone Cup. And I look forward to talking with you guys more tomorrow.